Good night, folks. Welcome back to Mike and Mike. We are delighted that you can join us. Hopefully, you survived those three. Well, if you're in New York or the East Coast region, we had a heat wave pass through. A massive heat wave has passed through here. So technically, even though you would know, but we are doing this show. Actually, you would know. We are doing this show today on Thursday night. Instead of our Tuesday because we couldn't tolerate this heat in this garage here. So we are doing it for Thursday tonight, and it would upload tonight or early in the morning for you guys to see. But thank you for spending some time with us, and we're glad you're here again, listening and watching it with us, watching us as we discuss some hot topics tonight. But without further ado, we're going to jump right into it. As usual, our panel is King Tox in
Good
the
night.
house.
Wagwan.
Wagwan. And myself is Mike. We are waiting on Baby Trump, a.k.a. Mike.
And Prime Minister.
And Prime Minister Khalees.
A.k.a. Mr. White, the intelligent investor. Not Baby Trump.
Yeah, he's trying to undercut the name, but he ain't gonna work.
You're funny.
Ain't gonna work.
You're funny.
But so tonight we have some local topic where we're gonna discuss some local politics. Our New York mayor, and we're gonna go on a global scale, meaning talking about the White House, the wars, and a lot of nonsense going on. So without further ado, let's jump in. So we want to talk about our
talk
about
our
local.
You were talking about earlier, the NYC mayoral race.
The local race, and for those who reside in New York, would relate to what we are saying. I mean, if you're listening and you're from a different country, different state, stuff like that, you would have an understanding of what's going on. But you can chime in and share your 2 cents. So what I don't understand is this. The guy that won the primary.
The Democratic primary.
Right, the Democratic primary. He's 35, 36 or 37.
What is it? Zoran Momdani.
Yeah. So the thing is, he makes some statement, which I was saying, well, I vote for Cuomo because I have history with Cuomo, and I know.
Yeah, Cuomo's a legacy.
Yeah, his policy. So I didn't really study these other guys.
I was super surprised, man.
Yeah, I am.
I was super surprised.
Up to this
I really
day.
was.
So I didn't really study these guys, so I didn't vote for anyone. Nonetheless, this guy took over and he kind of beat Cuomo, but it doesn't mean that Cuomo still cannot run. Comes.
He probably
November.
have to run on a different ticket.
Huh?
He probably have to run on a different ticket then.
He probably can't run as the Democrat, but he can run as some type of either independent or what's the other one they have there?
Well, he would have to go because what's his name? Now Eric Adams is running independent.
Yeah, but there's 2 options. You have the primary, you have the independent, and not 2 options, 3 options is there. You have the primary. No, you have the independent, you have the Democrat,
you have Republican,
and then you have the Republican. But they have also had another one, which they were on.
I think you got the Green Party.
Yeah, there was another
There's a Green
party
or something like that.
Right.
No, he can actually make his own party.
Or he make up something if that's the case. But the surprising and the shocking part of it is that I never expect him to this guy to beat Cuomo. However, I said, well, you know what? He's a Democrat, and if he at least he's gonna kick Adams out the office. So that's fine. My preference was Cuomo, but if he's a part of the Democratic Party to it, that is great. He's gonna kick Cuomo. But now I found out what this guy, Adam, is the one that brought it to our attention because I didn't hear that speech what he made.
Yeah, he's a socialist.
So
he wants to defund the police. He wants to bring a minimum wage up to $30. That will tank our economy in the city. Momdani.
So he also makes some statements saying that it's going to be free bus ride and it's going to be free, something dealing with social benefits or something like that.
That's not good.
It can't work.
No.
How are you going to be free bus ride? You're going to bankrupt the city. But the funniest thing, you see how sad how people are hurting because based on this is how I think why he won.
Yeah.
The moment you mention anything free,
Of course, they're gonna. Yeah. Oh, they want handouts,
government,
which I
exactly.
despise.
So he's just like what Trump did, where he's like, I'm gonna build a wall.
Yeah.
A lot of people support him because they want to stop these migrants from scaling the wall and coming over here and doing all these stuff.
Yeah.
So I saw where people related, and they like, and this is what pushed Trump in the office in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm seeing this guy now doing a kind of reverse psychology, doing the same thing about free bus ride. I'm like, how is that going to be possible? And I'm sitting there, I was like, these people are that. I was about to say dumb, but when I'm looking at people are desperate.
Yeah, and Mamdani, what people don't understand is that this is kind of blatant because
this is crazy.
What's happening, like you guys said, everybody knows, like if you watch the show or keep up, I'm a Democrat. We've already spoken with that, even though I'm very much for MAGA, but I am a Democrat. I always have been a Democrat, and this is a perfect example of a socialist cosplaying as a Democrat. This man is a socialist. What's crazy is that initially at that debate, I actually liked him because he was the only mayor that said that he wasn't going to visit Israel. And you already know my stance on Israel. So was going to, he's like, what I got to visit, which made sense to me. But then as time goes on, I'm like, dude, what are you trying to create? Prime Minister.
Prime Minister in the house.
Good timing. Prime Minister Khalees.
Khalees in the
Yes, sire.
Yes. The Prime Minister is here.
Yes.
Folks, the Prime Minister is here.
No, just in time. We were just talking about the NYC mayoral race that what's his name just won.
The Democrat won.
Exactly, Mamdani. Which this is like an upset because it should be on.
Yeah, the Democrat won.
Yeah,
and
he upset Cuomo. And then what we were just talking about that this Mamdani guy, like I was saying, is that I'm very much a Democrat, even though I support Trump. And I'm more so for the MAGA movement. I am a Democrat. I never switched my parties. I never left or anything like that, because this was a perfect example of a socialist. This man is a socialist, cosplaying as a
socialist.
Democrat. Yeah, he's a socialist because as far as his ideologies, he wants to defund the police. I'm sorry. I'm not the biggest fan of the police.
And the president.
I'm not the biggest fan of the police. Yeah.
And giving free bus rides.
Yeah, giving free bus. You bankrupt the city.
And some benefits where he's gonna.
You can't defund the police.
No, you can't.
That's our arms.
No, we need law and order.
That's our strength.
Like, trust me, I'm not a fan of the police. But we need.
But get it straight, because when this first came out, I was ignorant to the concept when they talk about defund the police. So what they are doing is that when they use the term, I think Obama did also explain it, and I forgot what other politician were breaking it down because I was ignorant to it. I didn't understand what you mean defund the police. You can't take. So you think the cops are gonna work for free? So what they're talking about when they said defund, they are kind of eliminating certain things. Like, for instance, if the government, if the precincts used,
I think it's like cutting the budget.
Right. So if the precinct used to get 50 million,
now
instead of getting 50 million, they're going to get like 35 or 40 or whatever the case may be. So, and then certain weapons, like if they used to get 20,000 guns or whatever the case may be, now they're going to get 15,000 or 10,000 in that sense. If they used to do a lot of overtime and stuff like that, now they're going to cut down the overtime or not giving them more overtime. So those are the avenue when they use the term defund the police.
Right.
But doing stuff like that, especially the work hours and the weapons what they need and the resources what they need, it needs money. It's gonna impact. It's gonna impact, and this is
very negatively.
Yeah, and
this is where you're gonna see a lot of crime now.
Exactly.
Right, the lot of foot patrols that we're seeing right now that's stalling some of the crimes and keeping it from happening.
Yeah,
that's gonna stop.
The budget's gonna have to cut some of those guys' hours and stuff like that.
So this is what this guy wants, and I'm like, wait a minute. Like, first of all, I'm sorry. Like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of the police, but whenever anybody says defund the police, what is wrong with you? That's law and order.
He was elected though, so
he was elected. You know why? Because like we were just talking about, people are so broke here, or they're so used to the minute they hear the word free.
They've been
You understand what I'm saying? Which I despise, because I'm sorry. I've been around a very long time. I know whenever you're getting something for free, you're not getting something for free. There's always something on the back end,
right?
All the time. You know that.
Yeah, I'm sitting there. I'm thinking. I'm like, why in the world the people of the state would let this guy, let these people, allow this guy to con them into saying that you can't, no mayor or no government can't do that. The moment you start up giving free bus ride, not even Europe, who's structured where they're giving away free healthcare system, they can't do stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's no matter what country, how wealthy they are, even as wealthy as this country is.
Yeah.
They cannot do stuff like that. They're gonna bankrupt either the country or that state.
No,
Yeah,
I think,
very true.
I think it's gonna have a lot of benefits as far as getting the individuals back and forth to like say work. They're
Wait,
really
What it is,
for
they're not
free?
they're not going to work. They're
Right.
not going to want to work
Right,
because
well,
they're getting everything for free.
yeah. The only thing with that is that.
But how you
I
gonna-
think the fear is going to eliminate certain elements.
But how you
Like,
gonna provide for the workers?
No, to be honest, with yeah, that's what I'm saying. The fair
If
definitely
you're gonna
eliminates
give
certain
away a
elements.
free ride, right? The city depends on the income, what their
Yeah.
the transit system,
Yeah.
the MTA system,
Yep.
the health, other whatever stuff this system charge you for. Motor vehicle is an example where when you go in and you pay this fee on a monthly on a yearly basis and stuff like that. That goes towards the maintenance of these local roads or salaries or
the
et
school
cetera, et
system,
cetera.
the supplements and all that.
How is that good? If you started giving away, you know,
The subsidy.
one time we did a friend of mine, we were doing I think we discussed it already on the show where we were doing some evaluation how much the Tampa Sea Bridge makes a day. So
Yeah.
I went and was like, oh,
And that's the cheaper bridge too.
yeah. And I
Cheaper
was
than the
like,
G-Dub.
The Tappan Zee Bridge is the one that goes to Rockland, right?
Yeah, that's the one that leaves you in Nyack. Yeah, goes
no,
from
not
Nyack
Tampa Sea
to
Bridge. Sorry,
the G-Dub?
No, not the cheaper. The Farazana Bridge.
the one that goes to Staten Island.
A few years
Staten
ago.
Island.
Yeah, Staten Island.
Bridge.
Okay.
So a few years, probably maybe
It's always busy.
15
It's always busy. It's busy
Yeah.
on
maybe
Sunday.
15
No, and
years
that's
ago.
$19 that's whole right
So
now.
How much?
they
It's $19.
probably 19. So I was like, okay. My friend was like, you know much for the Verrazano Bridge? They make a day. I was like, yeah, maybe like 30, 40 million or something of that sort. He's like, you must be nuts. We went up literally.
How much
went
they
up.
making a day at the Verrazano?
That day, that time, this was about 15 years ago.
How-
It was 256 million
A day?
A day.
That's crazy.
I could not believe
Just
it
in
up
tolls?
until today. Just in tolls.
Wow.
So that was 15 years ago when they were at like 9 or 10.
Imagine how much so they're probably making $500 million
So
a day now.
I'm sitting here now. I'm glad
Easily.
you said that. Why in the world this city is struggling for money?
Because somebody's stealing. Matter of fact, it's not somebody,
is
it's a
one
consortium
bridge.
of people that are stealing.
This is one bridge, dude.
Yeah.
And the funniest thing is that when they put up these tolls,
You
And
wanna
that's
pay-
not even one of the busier ones. The
You want-
G-Dub.
You want to pay one
The
way,
G-Dub
right?
is busy
the
as shit.
GW is
It's the most busiest bridge in the city.
but I'm saying
Wait,
they-
but
they-
Verrazano you pay one way, right? You pay those bridges.
Yeah,
one
I'm
way.
like, those bridges you pay one way, but I'm saying that's still like what he's telling me. If he's saying $256 million a day on the Verrazano, the
No,
Verrazano,
wait, how much a day?
it was
256.
This was about 15
Wait,
years
you were
ago.
talking. You probably talking 256,000.
No,
dude.
million.
I was saying that myself.
The highest bridge right now makes about 5 million per day.
Which one is that one?
Which one is that?
It might be the GW bridge.
Go and
No,
look
'cause
it
I
up.
know the
You have your
G-Dub.
phone.
Yeah,
Go
check
and
because the
research.
G-Dub-
Go back.
So
It might be a lot more.
The Verrazano bridge,
Unless that's
makes about-
256 a year. Unless that's $256 million a year.
Verrazano Bridge makes about $1.5 million a day.
Okay.
$1.5 million.
Ben.
$1.5 million? Hold on, let's see. Get Google right now. How much does the Verrazano Bridge generate in tolls?
Now that they dropped because I did. This is one of the things where I
And
had
then compare them
researched.
to the G-Dub, because I want to say
No,
the
they-
busiest toll bridges. You got the G-Dub, you got the Lincoln Tunnel, you got the Holland Tunnel.
Holland Tunnel make buku money too.
That's that's what I'm saying.
Holland Tunnel
But
probably
remember the
makes more
G-Dub.
money than the GW
But remember the
Bridge.
G-Dub is a commercial bridge. The Holland Tunnel, I think, is a commercial bridge too. I don't think the Lincoln Tunnel.
No,
is.
the Holland Tunnel has a height limit too.
Oh, it does. So
So-
that's everything's coming off the G-Dub then.
Yeah.
So the G-Dub is a commercial bridge, and then the Verrazano is a commercial bridge.
It is right.
It is because everything coming from South
Wait,
Jersey.
is the Verrazano Bridge linked with the Gothel Bridge? The Gothel Bridge?
You can get to the Gothels through the Verrazano. Gothels takes you from Staten Island into Newark.
Okay, the Verrazano,
How much
the
does it generate a day?
Verrazano
on a daily
bridge
basis?
makes an estimate of 1.6
A day.
1.6 million per day.
Okay, so that
Based
means
on
that was
the
probably
average.
about like yearly. That was probably yearly.
Based on
you're,
the average
you're
daily
entirely
traffic
right.
to-
It was making about $256,000 a day, like 20
It
years
might have
ago.
been, yeah. That
So
might have
it's
been.
probably
That's
probably
for the hype when
That's still a lot.
all that.
$250,000 a day in tolls.
It's a lot of money.
That's a lot of
that's
money
a lot.
for a bridge. That's now look up G-Dub because G-Dub is probably the busiest toll bridge in New
But
York.
see, it says approximately 200,000 vehicles crossing the daily bridge with an average of $8 according.
That's about
That
$1.6
can't be-
million.
So this got to be old news.
That is old news.
What year is
because
that? What year is that tape?
It's more than double right now. It's like
What year is that? What year was that
Total
cited?
rate Easy Pass is $6.50.
Oh yeah, no, Easy Pass is way more now.
Pass now to is $11.19. It's kind of a mix. It's mixed confusion a little bit.
Yeah, but how does that tie in with the free?
Well, remember all the bridges are under what do you call?
You know that's going to go down. That's going to
under-
you know that amount going to go down significantly if you start giving the buses.
Of course,
free.
they can't give what they. I'm sorry, like even though it's a very novel idea, you cannot prompt you.
It's a very novel idea.
We can't have free. We can't have in this city. We cannot have free transit. I'm sorry, we can't.
It can't
You have to
work.
pay for transit.
There's no
I'm gonna
way
be honest
it's
with
gonna
you.
work.
No, it's
Transit's only $2.90.
Yeah, it's going to start heaping up a whole lot of problems and criminalities.
Of course.
What's going to happen? You're going to have a lot of individuals taking the buses for 2 stops to carry out their deeds.
Yup.
It's for free.
Yup.
Correct. That's another angle of it.
That's just one element of it.
Right.
Now you're not
And
thinking
there's
of all the
many more.
drug addicts, all the beggars, all the
Good.
people in the street that want to sleep on a bus
Think
now,
about
bothering
it.
fucking
Everybody-
people.
They're going to be... Yeah, so you can't make it for
Yeah,
free.
you can't.
He
You
can't.
can't.
So
You
the
can't.
thing is, he doing this reverse psychology because he's know these New Yorkers is gonna fly for that.
Of course,
They're
just
not-
because he mentioned the word free.
y-
Just because he mentioned the word
fact,
free.
The fact you may have 10 people. Let's say in entire New York is about 10 people, right? And then out of that 10,
Where get that number from?
no, I'm saying
No, he's like an
I'm
example.
doing, just an estimate, right? We are assuming. Let's say it's an example, right? So the example is that let's say hypothetically you have 10 people in New York, right?
All right.
So you're gonna do this. He's gonna make his speech. Out of the speech, based on his speech saying that this thing is gonna be free, you have 10 people in New York. About 7 of them
It's nothing but a talking point.
is gonna run with it.
It's nothing but a talking point to get
Correct.
vote, to get
7
vote.
people gonna run with it. The other 3% or 3 individuals that's left, they're gonna like this it must be nuts.
Yeah, and it doesn't make it, and that's the only reason he
So
won.
the other seven is not paying attention because all they hear is free.
Yeah, exactly.
free.
That's
And
all
they
they
run
hear.
with it. They're not looking at it on a logical standpoint. On
They're
a
really
tactical
not. They're
standpoint.
really not.
Like, this can't work.
That annoys me so much
This is
because
not gonna work.
they lack critical thinking skills.
And it's the same thing what Trump did with this wall thing. You know, the whole country, because we are fighting this immigrant thing. You know, they claim that these immigrants come over, they're taking away the jobs and stuff like that. So when Trump said, we're going to build a wall, everybody like, yeah.
He never built that wall. He
And
never
he
built
never
that.
did build a wall. So he
He
was
never
like, we're
built-
going to stop these
Actually, they
immigrants
tried
from
building the
taking-
wall. They tried building the wall. The guy and they were still able to climb over the wall. They were still able to climb over the
They
wall or
didn't
go
even
through
climbing
the wall.
over the wall. They dig
Or they
underneath
go, or
the
they
wall.
dig all the wall, or they made like a little
Yeah,
hole.
I've seen that too. Somebody
But see, to be honest, like that,
That wasn't going to stop.
that was never.
Well,
Hey,
Uh-oh.
intelligent investor,
Uh-oh.
Mr. White.
baby
Baby's
Trump,
in
baby
the
Trump.
house.
Let me guess. Since no DPS came yesterday, or the DPS came today.
Baby's
Oh.
in the house.
Yo, Mikey,
All right.
Mikey.
Baby's in the house.
And the intelligent investor.
Resemblance.
No, Mike, Mr. White.
He tried to accept reality.
No, we were talking about the NYC mayoral race. How what's his name just beat out Cuomo, which is even surprising to me, the Mamdani character. And this guy's like a bugged out socialist. But what I was going to get to, who's running on the Republican ticket, is Curtis Sliwa, and that's the guy who founded the Guardian Angels. He doesn't necessarily have a political.
What is the Guardian Angel?
You don't remember the Guardian
You
from
don't
back in the
remember the
days that they were the guys
Guardian?
with the berets that they used to ride on the train
Yeah.
to prevent. So
They're
they-
like the
I know what it
they call
is.
them,
Like
like in
Panthers.
the 70s and 80s, like it was really, really bad on the trains. People used to get robbed. The Guardian Angels used to protect people.
So what do you think? You
So
should make
Curtis
buses
Sliwa-
for free. This is direct correlation. What do
Yeah.
you think?
Well, no, Curtis Lee, yeah, but Curtis Sliwa, no, he's opposite of that.
The
He
fear,
does. He's
the
not.
fear, the imposition of the fear and having the fear, right requirement actually keeps out certain elements.
Yeah, I mean, they're still jumping the fear. I'm like, they're really gonna have to do something about as far as like fair enforcement because I still see people jump the fear right in front of police. Police don't do shit to them.
That is true.
I pay
I've
my
seen-
fare all the time. I don't play that.
I've seen that.
It's not. I got the $2.90. Everybody said people tell me, oh, well, I got it too, but it's just a principle because they don't. I'm like, dude, it's $2.90. What are you talking about? They're telling me, oh no, well, they need to improve conditions. It's $2.90. If you can't afford $2.90, keep your ass in the house.
But that's not even the issue. Is that the city put these things like, for instance, come back in context where how this toll fee and stuff came in place. So the toll fee came in place because they didn't want to pay out for the bridge. They hire people from Europe and these other countries to help design and build these bridges. Mm-hmm. And the toll was put in place to build up that funds and pay out for these bridge off.
Yeah, also
the bridges got paid off.
Billions.
Right. It's also to maintain the integrity of the structure of the bridge.
Yes.
It requires constant maintenance.
So good point what you make. So how in the world you gonna give away, because now you're gonna have these other entities, you're gonna start depending because you're giving away free rides and an MTA. So number one is that you're gonna start relying on these other resources from the government, which is gonna put a strain on them.
Yeah, robbing Peter to pay Paul, so to speak.
And then you're gonna have manpower issue. You're gonna have people probably resigning from the city because they're not getting any pay, or if they're getting paid, they're doing like 5 people work, doing like 19 hours a week or a day or something like that.
Exactly.
So
it doesn't make
crazy.
sense to have free transit. It doesn't make
can't
sense to
work.
have free transit. It doesn't make sense to defund the police, especially
It's
in a
not gonna
city
work.
of this size.
And it's stupid for these people to sit there and let
It doesn't make sense to have city-run grocery stores. The man is trying to propose city-run grocery stores.
What does that do?
Basically, this is what they do in socialist countries. Somewhere like Cuba and North Korea, socialist environments, they have a city-run grocery store.
How does that work?
Basically, that's basically a grocery store on welfare. So that means that you're only going to be able it's not free market. So they're not going to have all different kinds of products. They're going to have whatever products that they're able to make money off. Exactly. Okay. That's not free market enterprise. This is what they do. This is what they do in socialist economies. We are not a socialist economy.
I understand.
I refuse to live in a socialist economy.
I understand his strategy, but the fact that the people buy it up, bought it up.
Yeah, they eat it up. The minute they hear the word free. The minute they hear the word free.
They desperate. They bought it up.
Free transportation.
And
that's all you gotta say.
I just recently discovered. I heard about this guy. I never knew nothing about it.
The Mamdani character.
Right.
Yeah.
And I went to social media, and on his profile it says free this, free that, free this. I'm like,
he's wilding.
No wonder why he won.
No, it was crazy.
Initially, of course.
Initially, I liked him.
That is what put him in the piggy bank.
And initially, I liked him because he wasn't. He was the only mayor that said, "Oh, I'm not. What am I going to visit Israel for?" Because when they were like, when they were into, he was the one that they grilled him for. So that's the only thing I agree. But everything else, I started to find out. I'm like, what's wrong with this guy? He's a hardcore socialist. And I'm like, no.
These other guys, when they were talking about, they would visit Israel.
That they would visit Israel. He was the only one that said he wouldn't.
They were capping because they know
that against it.
Huh? It's not necessarily he took a stance against it. He's like, I'm running for mayor of New York. What do I need to go visit Israel for? Which I agree with.
I agree with him. Right. You're a mayor.
No. This is New York City. Why do I have to go visit Israel?
Government.
You guys already know my stance on Israel. So
that's a federal job. The president don't let they do that job. I am here to maintain the city.
Exactly.
And whoever is in there, all the Jews, all the Catholics, or whoever.
Exactly. I will speak with them
deal
directly.
with them here.
Exactly.
I don't need to go to their
saw
country.
that interview between Tucker Carlson and Ted Cruz.
Oh, we did?
Yeah. I saw that.
I didn't get to see that one.
Are you pressing him?
Why?
You was Ted.
Tucker. I love the way Tucker.
Yo,
Tucker be busting people up.
He
bro.
was busting him up.
Tucker busts everybody up.
Tucker on Fox News, right?
Yeah. He's
Tucker,
not Fox
fired.
anymore. He
He's like, I got fired.
He got fired.
No, Tucker got fired.
Yeah, because what it is, Tucker's like another Candace Owens. Like he speaks his mind.
No, Hannity's still there.
Nah, but remember, Tucker was like another Candace Owens. He started speaking his mind, and he got
fired. I'm surprised they still kept her. She didn't get fired yet because she talks.
Who, Candace? No,
she-
Candace
no,
got
Not
fired.
Candace Owen, you know.
She's independent.
She's independent.
She's independent.
Yeah, because she got fired too for
Tucker is
speaking her mind.
independent. No,
Wait.
I mean they did him a favor when they let him go.
Yeah.
No, wait a minute.
I don't
I
see
think
that.
I'm mixing
I
up
don't
the
see
name. I'm
that.
not talking about Candace Owen, you know. I'm talking about the other white chick that's on Fox. She's radical, just like Tucker.
Oh, you're talking about
I was mixing up the names.
Not Nancy
Anna
Grace, right?
Kasparian.
Anna something.
I like
She's
Anna Kasparian. You saw the way she went off on that lady, the one that was trying to play her from Israel.
She's like Tucker. She's
Yo,
like
Anna
another-
Kasparian does
she
not
work
play
for
that.
Fox.
I like her.
Check that.
Ted Cruz said some nonsense about it's a biblical duty
Exactly.
for Israel. Some nonsense.
Yeah,
And
and it's
Tucker's like,
Tucker
And
was
what they
like-
don't understand, that Israel there is not the same Israel
And
in the
he said-
Bible. If anybody read the Bible, they know that's not the same Israel in the Bible.
Yes, yo, you need to watch that.
Wait,
I'm surprised you didn't watch it.
You went to that?
Send it to me.
You went to that though? You went to that?
Yeah.
Biblical?
It was interesting.
He was
Very
getting really
interesting.
defensive
Right.
too.
Guys,
what's
he
the
asked
name?
him some simple question, right? Like, what's the population in Iran?
He didn't know.
He didn't know, and he asked him the question right back, and he gave him
And
the
because Tucker was like 1.6. He's like,
yeah. So he's like, Ted Cruz is like pro-Israel.
Yeah. You know why?
Tucker
Because
Carlson-
they pay him. That's why.
Yeah, they pay him.
They pay him. He's being bribed. Yeah, you're not fooling nobody, Ted.
So
Yeah, you know, he's another one that makes me mad because, you know, he's Latino and you should be ashamed of yourself. But, you know, it's another story.
yeah, his response was you should be saying America first. You know, you're like really pro-Israel.
Exactly.
And you're a senator here in America, and you're not like, oh, let's clean the streets, let's do this here in America, let's do that in America. You're all about Israel.
Yeah.
Israel.
and
You
the
know-
funniest thing, he doesn't know any history too much about the number one, the basic information. If you're supporting this country like that or whatever, you should at least understand the population. And that was a
Yeah,
simple
of
question.
You know
course.
what
I
caught
agree.
him off guard? He thought Tucker Carlson was gonna be like siding with
Siding
him.
with him,
Nah,
right?
Whatever he
that's
says,
that's
right?
how
And
Tucker gets him, though. Every interview I see it, he's very friendly. Even when he's asked you something that's like
Yeah.
oppositional, he's just very friendly.
Smart
and he's just
guy,
like,
smart guy,
very smart.
good
guy.
analyst. He's a
Yes,
good
yes, excellent analyst. That's why people get mad at him because like he really puts you up against the wall.
analyst. Right.
I didn't. The thing with him
But
though,
they
what
did
I
be
didn't really
asked
like too much
hard questions.
is how he was spreading when he was with Fox. He didn't like Obama for crap. So he would get information, and this is one of the things that was getting him in trouble.
Yeah.
And I guess, but it was something else they fired him for. But he
But
was
what's crazy, a lot of stuff that he talked about Obama, it actually ended up being true.
some of the stuff he was
Yeah.
talking about. But I mean, that was public information. It was
Yeah.
already out there. It was just not publicized enough where
Yeah.
the general public knew about it.
Yes.
But at the same time, you know, he was started running with a lot of propaganda too fast. I'm like, you cannot be on a public network like that or a private entity like that
Yeah.
and a big entity like that and running these propagandas. And
Yeah.
they call him out, I mean, a couple of times. I mean, it wasn't really that canon. It was some dumb crap he went and did behind closed doors.
Yeah.
I think it was some female business he was involved with, and along with some comments that get him canned. But it just
Who's this we talking about?
Tucker Carlson.
Tucker Carlson.
Yeah. No, I think what it is, a lot of these guys, what happens is that they end up, they're journalists to the core. And what I've noticed in the last, the media has always been propagandist. They're not necessarily, the media was always supposed to be objective and give us the news raw. And what has been happening,
Unbiased.
exactly, they've been biased, they've been persuasive. And then both sides, CNN does it, Fox does it. Because I see how I can't watch.
They tend to lean on one side.
Yeah, I can't exactly. They tend to lean on one side, and then what it is, they make up
CNN is
they make up-
pro-Democrat
yeah.
and Fox is
Yeah,
pro-Republican.
exactly. But what it is that the both sides they make up these they make up these ridiculous ridiculous accusations, and then what happens is that you got certain people like Tucker, like, wait a minute, somebody on his side, obviously he's a Republican, he might disagree with another Republican. And then now all of a sudden now he's the enemy because he disagrees. And that's another problem with a lot of people is that you don't allow You don't allow yourself to be a critical thinker, thinking that it's all. Look, my brother-in-law, he tells me because he's like, "How are you pro-MAGA and anti-Israel?" I said, "What do you mean?"
Pro what?
Because I'm pro-MAGA.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And I'm anti-Israel. I said, because I'm America first. I'm not Israeli. As far as I'm concerned, everybody knows my stance on Israel. So, I can be, I don't need, because obviously anybody who's, anti-Israel is obviously pro-Palestine.
No,
which, I'm pro-MAGA and I'm pro-Palestine. There's a lot of stuff with MAGA I don't agree with.
Or you can take a neutral stand.
Yeah, well, I know.
You don't have to be one or the other.
I don't take a neutral stance. I take what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. But sometimes the right things could be on the left, the right things could be on the right. The wrong thing could be on the left and the wrong things could be on the right. I pick what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong.
That is
I actually got a lot of respect for that too.
Yeah.
Because last week that was your position on that too.
Yeah.
I
still,
you shift where the truth shift to.
Yeah.
If the
I have
truth
to.
shift to the left,
Then you have to.
Shift
yeah,
to the
you
left.
got it because that's the truth.
If you shift to the right, just like if what they call extreme with the Republicans and the Democrats.
Oh,
when they said
they're extreme right and extreme left.
So if the truth shift to the extreme right, you shift to the extreme right, regardless of what power you're in or what party you're supporting.
Well, see, that's the thing about it. The truth can't necessarily go extreme. See, like you have extreme right, you have extreme left. I'm neither. I can go right or left. But to be honest with you, lately, I've been agreeing, even though I am a Democrat, I've been agreeing with a lot of ideals on the right because they just seem to, they're utilizing their critical thinking skills. They're actually using logic. They're not letting emotions get in the way of their decisions. And I feel my party on my side, who has been hijacked by socialists and communists and Marxists and whatever else you want to call them, and they're playing on people's feelings. They're playing on people's feelings. They're playing on people's emotions. They're playing on people's needs. For instance, free bus rides. You're playing on it. People are struggling, and then you want to play with them like that. You understand what I'm saying? You can't.
That's exactly what it is. It's manipulation, though.
It's manipulation. But and you're manipulating the weak. And when I mean by weak, I mean weak by economically, financially.
You shouldn't exploit people that way.
You shouldn't. You shouldn't.
He saw their weakness.
It played on people's vulnerability, and that's not a good thing.
No, and he played. Look, I'm not. The minute when I first saw him, and I said that, and I saw that he was the only one that wasn't going to be. So I said, I like this guy. So then I said, okay, but what is? I don't live in the city now. I'm in Westchester, so I can't vote anywhere. I was like, I like this guy, and then like I said. After I saw that he won, and then I said, wait a minute, let me read up on one, because I was like, wait, he really said this? And he really did say all that.
This guy was nuts.
And that's the thing, defund the police? Are you serious?
Yo, 50 Cent just offered him some money,
man. 50 Cent. Because he tried to quote 50 Cent, like 50 Cent on his side. He's like, I don't know this dude. He's like, dude, I'll pay you $278,000 to leave New York and go away.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? No, because 50's right. Remember, 50's a businessman. See what it is. I feel bad for 50 because 50's very much a Trump supporter. He just can't say it. Because he'll get canceled. Yeah. Remember, he's a businessman. He's about business. He's about enterprise.
They were hardcore on Snoop because Snoop was hardcore against Trump. He hated. I mean, I don't know if I'm safe to use the word, but he disliked Trump a lot. Then when Trump won the last time, Snoop just switched, and the whole rapping industry.
Because you know why? Because the whole time.
Now it's all like 10 million people stop following him.
Because the whole time they did like Trump. Look, 50 got offered $3 million to go perform Many Men, just Many Men, the only song by itself at the Republican National Convention for Trump.
And he rejected it.
He rejected it in fear of being canceled. And I can understand that. People are like, oh, well, 50 has a lot of money. Why, and they're saying, why is he worried about getting canceled? I said, well, to be honest, I felt bad for 50 when he said that, because I know when he said that on the Breakfast Club.
You can sell out.
And the thing about it, he can't, he really, obviously he supports Trump.
Yeah.
But what it is, he can't, in the position, look, he just bought that fucking 1 million square foot studio in Shreveport, Louisiana. He has a lot of money invested in that.
Right.
If he was to say that he's a Trump supporter and then gets canceled, there's going to be a whole bunch of fucking people.
Not only just get canceled,
that's going to pull out.
Get blacklisted.
Yeah, get blacklisted. Just for so he has to, and 50, well played, sir. You play 5D chess. The rest of these idiots are playing checkers. I know that I know who you support, and it's you're doing the right thing by supporting that person, and nobody really needs to know your business. Nobody needs to know. But as far as the propaganda that they try to pull, as far as they play on people's emotions. Yeah, and more so, they play on our emotions. They play on people of color's emotion. Because I'm telling you right now, white people don't fall for this bullshit. That's why they say
I mean,
never trust a
yeah,
white
I
liberal. Those
agree,
white liberals are
because
full of shit.
if it was most
what?
A white liberal. Now, Malcolm X said it. Never trust a white liberal. They're the worst.
if-
They're the worst people in the world.
if it was a bunch of majority white was supporting like into election here, this guy wouldn't win.
No.
He would not win.
No. No way in hell.
Is the media?
I couldn't believe Mom Donnie
mid
beat Cuomo.
and low class really was supported.
And remember, Cuomo's a legacy. His father was a governor. Cuomo was a governor.
I would take Cuomo
You understand?
a billion times more than all these jokers out here.
Yeah. I take his brother Chris over Mom. I take Chris over
Matter of
Mom
fact, when I
Donnie.
went and vote, he's the only one. I mean, even though I didn't do, even if I did research on the rest of the folks, but at the same time, when I go to vote, I would still vote for him because technically, what I did when I
That's
went
a
and
real
vote,
upset.
I only vote for him only.
Yeah.
There's few people there, even though I could have, but I only could vote for one person.
But I'll tell you this, you know who's the smart choice? I know people ain't going to vote for him, but he's the smart choice because he's the only one that really cares about the city.
Who?
Curtis Sliwa. And he's running on a Republican ticket. But we haven't had a Republican mayor since
I think-
Bloomberg. What was that, 15 years ago? Bloomberg
Yeah,
was on a Republican ticket, right?
And
And Bloomberg made the city really expensive.
Bluewell was before
He's
Giuliani or
he's
after?
another criminal.
He was before Giuliani or after Giuliani?
No, he was
After
after Giuliani. As a matter of fact, Giuliani was a Republican mayor. But see, the thing with Giuliani
They're
and
both
Bloomberg,
criminals, man.
Giuliani, they're Republican mayors, but what
Yeah,
it is,
they-
they made New York a police state.
I'll explain.
Yeah, you understand? Like, so this is why Republican mayors never work in New York because of the kind of things that they do. Even though I know they're trying to do the right thing, they do it in the wrong way. He made New York a police state to where you couldn't even smoke weed in the streets. You know, they're locking you up for all this bullshit, all this nonsense.
Oh,
And then,
Giuliani?
and then Bloomberg comes right behind them.
Giuliani and Bloomberg. Both of
Yeah,
them.
and then Bloomberg comes right behind them. For one, Bloomberg served 3 terms, which he wasn't supposed to.
That's why I was using the term
Illegally.
criminal.
And on top of that, Bloomberg made it very expensive to live in New York City. That's when the whole hike from the cost of living, basically shot up 200% in those 12 years that Bloomberg was in office. So this is why Republican mayors never work out, and that's why they vote Democrat. But then the Democrats are even worse. I mean, look, what's his name was on a Democratic ticket, right?
Who that?
Eric Adams. Look what he did.
He's
He didn't do
corrupted.
anything. De Blasio, another one.
They
He was completely useless.
I mean,
You understand?
De Blasio, out of all of them, I mean, if I had the option, he had done a little something at the end of the day, but all of them are corrupted, man. The whole shebang of
They
them
don't
are
have.
corrupted.
They don't.
And
I mean, the smart choice is
you know,
Curtis Sliwa. Curtis Sliwa actually cares about the city. Only thing is that he has no political history.
I
He's
think
not,
Cuomo,
he's not a
Cuomo
politician.
is also for the people. I think so too.
I agree.
because
I agree.
I think he's for the
Because
people.
remember when he stepped down,
demonstrated-
they forced him to step down.
He
Bro,
didn't
because-
step down voluntarily.
No, but that's
No,
what I'm
they
saying. But
forced him.
they forced him. Like
step down.
what it
The
is.
scandal.
He got and it was bull, and that was nonsense because I understand what he did, but the way they spun it, you know why that happened, right? That he had to step down because Cuomo wasn't with he wasn't with passing mandatory vaccinations. That his
There's a lot of stuff that he
there was a
wasn't
lot of stuff
supporting.
that he wasn't with. So what it is, they basically put him up against the wall. They got some dirt on him. They got a scandal on him. They shamed him.
And I can't even think about it. This is probably propaganda they spread. They
Yeah.
probably pay out people.
Yeah,
covering
they
up
shamed,
people.
and then they put Hochul in. Hochul's a puppet. You see what she's been doing with the state.
Was the other one? Was the other
My
one
bad.
that they got a scandal to? What was his name? Spitzer or something like that.
Oh, you talking
Spitzer.
about
Oh,
Spitzer? Yeah,
Spitzer.
Spitzer's another one.
No,
But
Spitzer.
that's what he was running. He was running what? City comptroller or something like that?
Yeah, he's
He's another one.
He's a
That was
gangster.
funny, actually.
he's
Elliot
a gangster.
Spitzer.
Yeah, that's
Elliot Spitzer.
Yo, they blew his cover, man.
Elliot Spitzer.
He pissed
But-
somebody
Was it-
off.
No.
He pissed somebody off.
But the funniest thing is that they blew his cover.
He's a pervert,
actually
though.
Is the porn? Would I say it's porn star? But it's the
Call
call girl.
Yeah.
Call service. And then when I see a chick he spending 10 grand on, I'm like, dude.
Right. I don't want to be.
Are
Yeah,
you,
you got-
are
yeah.
you right in
like
your
that.
mind?
Zach, I could have got you up for like 2 bands, bro. Like, what's the...
Are you right in your mind?
But
Yeah.
they knew all this stuff.
What's his name? One public advocate, Jumani Williams. The guy with the, he has Tourette's syndrome. Jumani, you seen him.
Yeah, what?
He has Tourette's syndrome, but he just won public advocate. I remember when he ran for public advocate a few years ago. He didn't win that time, but he got public advocate this time. He's actually good. He's Jumani Williams is a good incumbent.
I mean, from Giuliani time coming back up to this time, the whole shebang of them is just some of them may do good and some of them are just fully corrupted. from the only
Because they're in other people's pockets.
The thing what I can give with Giuliani, he cleaned up 42nd Street.
Yeah, he
prostitution around New York, he cleaned that up. Other than that, that's the only good credit I personally can give to him. No,
but he was wild. He could have smoked weed in the street.
He's another rich dictator.
Yeah.
Arrogant, self-conceited. I know. Well, let me withdraw with this criminal behavior. But the thing is, they're crooks.
Right.
They're crooks because number one, no, he went. No other mayor, to my knowledge and the history, what I've known. If people, you can correct me if I'm wrong. Put a note if I'm incorrect. But no other mayor did a reverse of the term. The condition term.
It's supposed to be 2 terms, right?
It was only supposed to be 2 terms.
From day one, they invented
and
this
he
thing.
did something to
and
get
he
a
did
3rd
something
term.
with his people and whatever he's paying them off. Allegedly, he probably did some stuff under the table.
Of course
Whatever,
he did.
if it's physical payment or favorite, but he did something for these jackass to sit there and vote it and approve it
3
for it to
terms.
go through. And then what top it off? The bastard did not keep it. He reversed it right up so nobody else cannot benefit from
then he reversed it right after his 3rd term.
So the stupid thing now in it is, since if he wasn't even thinking to on his counterpartners or whatever case may be, you were in office illegally then.
Yeah, I seen a little self-serving though.
Yeah, well, it was. Look,
No,
his whole thing was to get. Look, when Bloomberg first went into office, mind you, Bloomberg campaigned his own. He bankrolled his own campaign. I remember when he first ran for mayor.
Right.
$69 million. That was a lot of money.
A billionaire.
Bankrolled his own campaign. So that means that he didn't answer to nobody. Okay? When he went in, he was already a billionaire.
He was already million. He didn't.
No, he was a billionaire. He was a billionaire. Yeah, because he had Bloomberg TV. Now, when he went in, he was worth $3 billion when he became mayor of New York City.
Oh, okay.
When he left 12 years later, his net worth went to $27 billion.
I thought it was 30.
So that means you go to 20. You raise your net worth by 900% as a mayor because you didn't take a salary. He only took $1 a year as a salary. So all his companies were making all this money. You was probably doing all kinds of backdoor deals where you had all these deals with the city.
Have contracts
with the city.
Have contracts with the city
because that's the only way your net worth goes up 900%.
What I understand,
that'd be a conflict of interest.
What I understand, 311 is 311 or 411 is his. Up to this day, I'm not
311.
Yeah,
I think he's a 311 or 411 is his.
No, I think it's 311. It's not 411. It's 311.
For city residents, you gotta live in New York to use it, to utilize it.
Yeah. 311. I think he owns that.
This is crazy.
Does he?
No, something like that. It's something. Well, it's half owned by him, half. That's what I'm saying. That's what it is with these
You
city
can't give
agencies.
yourself a contract.
With these city agencies, look. Let's put it this way. You would think Easy Pass is a city agency. It's not.
It's not.
That's a privately owned. That's a privately owned company. Matter of fact,
I
the
thought
owner.
MTA owns all.
No.
They're contracted with not MCA. They're contracted with New York, New Jersey Port Authority because that's who runs all bridges and tunnels,
right,
and tolls. Mm-hmm. So that's an independent owner. Matter of fact, in Easy Pass, the guy that owned it, I think it was like some Jewish dude. He actually just sold Easy Pass to some Chinese company. So now a Chinese company, big Chinese corporation, owns Easy Pass.
What I even looking up for? Because this thing is by
it's all business, huh?
It's
Bro,
311.
remember,
NYC
everything leads down to the money. Everything. All the nonsense, all the fuckery, part of my French.
It means
everything always leads to the bread.
It means individuals start paying attention.
NYC 311 is owned and operated by New York City Department of Information Technology and Telecommunication, DOT. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, right, whatever.
Yeah, but I think
they're just partially.
What do you call it? No, so that means that obviously what you were saying, that's what was NYC DOT, Intelligence and Corrections?
Yeah.
Or what it is? Okay.
Information.
So that means that the platform or the server that they run on, most likely Bloomberg owns that.
Which somewhere down the line.
Exactly. So basically, he has his hands in it.
So somewhere down the line, if he's not completely owned it, he has some type of connection.
And look, he's had his hands in Wall Street. You guys don't remember Bloomberg TV back in the days where he had his own ticker on the bottom of the TV.
That's how he got rich. When you think he started getting rich?
Yeah,
I remember
he's in finance.
He explained it.
He's from Brooklyn.
When he make his first million.
Yeah, he dated Diana Ross too.
To Wall Street. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, because he's from Brooklyn.
Say again, Mike?
No, I said I remember when he had that interview. I think I'm not sure which network was interviewing him. But
I'm not gonna lie, his daughter Georgina, she's bad.
Yeah, you gotta have that millions to go close.
Nah, bro, I just need that silver tongue, bro. That's it. I got the gift of gab. I just need to converse with Georgina about 5 minutes.
Garage here.
Come on, I'm king.
Right.
I'm saying? Once she talks to King Tox for like 5 minutes, you know what I'm saying? She's not
That's it.
She's not worried about nobody else.
Westchester,
King
baby.
Tox, baby, don't let King Tox come for you.
King Tox.
Mrs. Bloom, what? She married?
Georgina, yeah, she's married. I forgot what her married name is, but Georgina Bloom.
Make King Tox
She's like a
great
big
again.
time. She's a what was she at one
Not
time?
only-
Big time equestrian,
Not only the
rides
mobsters
horses
gonna
and shit.
come for him, though. You're gonna have husbands that's coming
Yup,
for him.
yup. Everybody coming for me. I don't care. Come for me.
He ready though.
I'm ready.
ready.
I'm ready. And I don't live in the city. I'm a Westchester County resident. You know what I'm saying? Y'all come and get me. I got friends up there too.
Oh man. Yeah. So the other part in the news. So Mr. Trump came out.
Oh, did you see that? I thought that was AI when he cursed. He really cursed. When he's like, they don't know what the fuck they're doing.
No, when
I thought that was AI. He really cursed.
He said on the lawn, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he cursed.
I thought it was AI
That was
at
real.
first.
No, that was real.
He's frustrated.
Yeah,
He's frustrated.
He annoyed because
He's annoyed.
To be honest with you, I'm sitting here. Some of the interview and the what they call them, the journalists. They ask questions. They ask, and I'm just like, are you people dumb or stupid or so? What type of foolishness this you asking the president? Even though he himself is a dumb too.
Yeah.
But I'm like, this is dumb. Stop asking these dumb questions for and waste airtime. You have good relative questions you need to ask, and you just find these.
They find nonsense. Yeah,
So
it's
when
nonsense.
Trump went off and them was like, there goes Mikey Daddy.
Yeah.
No, but he's frustrated.
He was
Because I think what it is, see, now that I'm thinking, because everybody's saying, oh, he lied, they didn't have a ceasefire. I think what it is, he did want to have a ceasefire. Iran agreed, and then Israel went and did
They
their
have it now.
nonsense.
They have it now.
No.
And then Israel went and did their nonsense. No, but they did, what it is, he wanted the ceasefire. And Iran was like, all right, cool. And then Israel goes and strikes them and then acts like Iran hit them first.
The problem,
This is what I'm saying. Israel starts
the
trouble.
problem, what I understand is that he wanted the ceasefire. Obviously, from day one, he wants
peace.
But he never worked it out or made some agreement with Israel and with Iran. Iran now, somewhere down the line, they kind of back off each other because of since the U.S. went in and dropping stuff, right?
Right.
So they kind of back off of each other, but they never ceasefire. Trump now taking it upon himself came out and announced, listen, we both understand.
Ceasefire, and then Israel did what they were supposed to do.
And stuff like that.
But
and
like
Israel's
I said,
like, where'd that come from?
But you see what I mean with Israel is the troublemaker because Iran don't want problems. Let me tell you something. Iran can obliterate Israel if they want. Only thing Iran's scared of is retaliation from the United States. Iran can obliterate Israel. And to be honest with you, Israel needs to be obliterated.
Why have like it's just like why like Israel obviously got some type of strategy. They don't even have.
They have no strategy.
They have no strategy.
They have no strategy.
So, mind you,
why is it?
Iran has about 90 million people in its population. 90 million.
Iran?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Compared to
Israel has no strategy, bro.
10 million.
Israel has no strategy.
So you comparing
Israel has no
compare 10
strategy.
million
9 million and 10 million.
No,
You know what
90
Israel has no
90
strategy.
million.
You know what Israel?
90 million.
You know what Israel is? Israel is the little dude on the block that doesn't know how to shut the fuck up, and then gets into trouble, and then has to get the big homie, and then big homie got to fight his battle.
They have a lot of resources.
That's their strategy.
And allies.
They have no
The
strategy.
thing is,
And the only reason they're getting that, and the only reason Big Homie does everything for them, is because they have dirt on Big Homie. They're extorting Big Homie. They're blackmailing Big Homie.
there's something that's going on.
So we
with
need
them
to
because-
delve in.
Yeah,
funniest
that's
thing,
what it
Trump
is. You
came
could
in-
see it. Like if see what it is. Like you guys know, I have a PhD in fuckery. I'm King Tox.
King
I
Tox,
see it,
baby.
I see it. I can see it. I can see
Certified.
it. Yeah, exactly. You can see. I can see what the problem. People say, "How do you know?" Because I'm a troublemaker. So you think I don't know other troublemakers?
Like a
When I see
thief
they're
would know another
troublemakers.
thief. A liar would know another liar.
Exactly, and I'm all of them. I'm a liar. I'm a thief. I'm a con artist.
Yo, you driving down
Like,
home right now. That
I'm a
sounds
liar.
about right.
Look, I'm a
That sounds-
liar. I'm
Mike,
a
that
thief.
sounds about right.
I'm a con artist. I'm a professional. I'm a professional conniver. You know what I'm saying? I make all kinds of
Professional
side deals.
gangster.
I'm a flammer. I'm somewhat of a gangster. You know what I'm saying? I know. This is what I'm saying. If there's
Sounds about
if
right.
there's a way to cut corners, if there's a way to cut
Sounds
corners
about
or
right,
undercut
right?
somebody, then I know about it. So I'm gonna recognize when somebody else is like that.
I really hope you're not that influential.
Yes, it's a good thing that I'm not an influential person because I could probably, I'd probably be the next
We'll
Genghis
be in
Khan or
trouble,
something.
right?
yeah.
New York would be in trouble, bro.
Yeah, he just made that song real glorious. Like he's pitching that, like
No, but remember when I was saying 2 weeks ago, I said, look, just keep watching the news. And I said, watch, they're going to try to blame Iran for stuff. And it wasn't Iran. This whole time, Israel has been starting trouble. They're constantly starting trouble. And then they want to hide behind the United States. And then I see what Trump is doing. See what Trump really needs to do is that if you're going to cut ties with Israel, then cut ties already. Okay, I don't.
Right. That's a fact. If you're going to do that, do that.
And do you know why he's not doing that?
Stand on that.
I'm at the point now. You know what? Trump
He
is
tried
on.
to
No,
do
you know
it.
what it is? Trump is on the Epstein list. But I'm at the point now, dude. I don't care.
Yo, why you spreading propaganda like
No,
that?
he is. No, I
think
really
this
feel.
is
I
what-
really
this is
feel
what,
he is. I
Elon
really feel
said.
he is.
Yeah, but
Elon exposed it.
But the American people are like, you know what, dude? We don't. Yo, if you're okay, fine. That's fine.
It's still
you'll deal with that.
there's
karma yourself.
allegations,
Cut
though.
ties with Israel. No, but I know. They're allegations because we can't prove it. But the reason why we can't prove it because it's hidden. That's the dirt that they have him. He's on that Epstein list. I know he is. He probably didn't even do anything, but it's just the fact that he's on the Epstein list.
got a fact check.
You understand what I'm saying?
I mean, it's
No, that's
it's
probably
possible.
no.
It's possible.
We're not gonna find no facts on that. What I'm telling you, that like I said, I have a PhD in fuckery. I
Elon-
know when you know what I'm saying when you're when
Elon did mention that.
Yeah,
He
and
said
Elon did
one
mention
of the
it.
things why, because after they cut ties and they're going on, you know, they were going back and forth.
Why
like,
sour
yeah.
their relationship? You
So
started going ballistic.
he
on
mentioned
them.
like, reason why Trump didn't release the
because he's on the Epstein list.
because he's on
Yeah.
the Epstein list.
But I also
And Trump fired back, but he couldn't fire back too hard.
no, he
because
didn't
knows
because
it's
he
true.
is he knows it's true. And to be honest, yo, Donnie, if you're on the list, bro, just come. If you come out and say, yeah, I'm on the list, guess what? Israel has no more power over you. They really don't. And that's basically what it comes down to. Okay,
So
you're
maybe-
79 years old. You don't have that much longer left on this earth. You might as well just come clean. You're on the list.
Right now,
to
he's
be
on,
honest, nobody cares. We just want you to
79.
cut ties with Israel.
He is on he's on extra time right now because technically on a spiritual level, God pronounced not mean that
Yeah.
everyone is gonna die at 70, but
Yeah.
the level of what he set for every human being,
Yeah.
it was 70 years old.
Who's
Three
that?
scores
Is
and
that-
six.
that's in the Bible.
God, yeah.
Yeah.
When he
Wait,
put
that's
up-
in the Bible.
yeah.
Yes,
Three
like
scores
70
and
years old,
six.
something like that.
That's equivalent to 70 years old. But it doesn't mean that people live beyond 70. People live
Yeah, I mean the
150.
life
But
expectancy
the
is
life
probably that.
expectancy is about 70 years. It's 70 years old.
Yeah.
So
What do
right
you call it?
now,
Extra, what do you call it? Extra time?
he's 79, so he's like on extra time right now. He's on borrowed time, as what they.
Oh, and then also all this stuff that we're talking about. Remember, this is also a distraction. Everybody has to pay attention to what's going on in Gaza. Okay, they just put up, I want to say, 17 new Israeli settlements in the West Bank. 17.
17.
But these are settlements.
What settlements is those?
A settlement is basically like a compound. These are, mind you, again, these are Europeans
Hey,
coming into this land. It's not their land.
You know what? You know what I thought?
And illegally setting this up. And right now, we're not talking about that is because they're distracting us with all this other nonsense.
Mike, I
But
don't
we,
know.
we have to be mindful of that.
We definitely got to be. I'm not sure if you got this in the program. You talking about these sleeper cells or something like that? We should be aware of.
It's. I mean, this is one of the strength with.
But I think
with,
that's fear mongering also.
I mean, it is possible. It's possible.
We've had
because
sleeper cells in this
that
country
was one
forever.
of the things everyone is looking for.
Yeah.
But I think if there's some things gonna be initiated with these sleeper cells, it's not gonna happen now.
Yeah, it's not.
Because they're gonna wait until everyone forget about what happened
Yeah.
2 weeks ago.
And like I said,
Get sleeping.
Yeah.
and like I said, Iranians are not the threat. They are not the threat. It is the Israelis. I will say that. I will say that. I will say that to those Mossad CIA pieces of shit. Come and get me.
Yeah.
It's them.
See, we are the garage.
Yeah,
here.
nah, they know. Don't worry. Nah, you leave them alone. You leave them alone. You send your best asset after me, and I'll send them back in a couple of pieces in a garbage bag.
You see, that's some federal business right there. That's some strong federal business right there.
Yeah.
We're moving, as what the show said, moving forward.
Yeah. Oh, and then that's the other thing. Well, what's his name? With Mamdani, which is another thing I found out that he's like, oh, we're not going to cooperate with ICE. What is wrong with you? That is a federal supersedes anything else in this country. You cannot go against ICE and, oh, we're not going to cooperate with ICE. That's what he said. He actually said that as one of his points, that he's not cooperating with ICE. What is wrong? You can't do that.
He said what?
That he's not going to cooperate with ICE if he becomes mayor.
You can't do
That
that.
he's not going to. He can't. Exactly.
He can't.
Because federal supersedes everything else. Federal supersedes state, county, and city governments.
But you see, well,
Right.
again, this Joker, he was trying to do that, but his situation flipped really quick.
Who's that?
Adam. Because he was trying to say the same crap. Like,
He was trying to block him.
This is a...
Yeah.
But the fact that's what I'm saying, it's kind of got touchy because now
Like
they
a
wanna-
sanctuary city, so
they-
to speak.
is corruption exposed. So now for him now to even sound like or kind of having a standoff, the White House says, listen, let me tell you something. What we're gonna do, we're still gonna do it. If you want this charge, because I think he was gonna go to jail.
Yeah, I thought
They
he
had
was going to go to jail.
compelling evidence
Yeah.
against him.
I thought
He was gonna go to jail if Trump didn't step in and have
Yeah.
the Justice Department wipe him out. Right now,
Yeah.
according to what I understand, they have ISIS set up in Rikers Island. They wiping out little by little,
Yeah.
one by one.
Yeah.
But now,
I heard there was in the stadium.
They are. Over there, what do you call? Icon
there
Stadium.
was in
Randall's
California
Island.
where the ICE was
Right,
making.
right there, right there. What's the name of that stadium right there? Like off of like Queens, going to Queens.
That's Icon Stadium. That's in Randall's Island.
That's where they at.
Yeah, they're in Randall's Island.
There was another place in California too. There was a stadium they were about to raid, and the local police came in.
The
And stopped
Dodger
them.
Stadium. I
Yeah,
seen
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
And you can't do that. Like the ICE, these guys are federal agents. And they're saying, and
No,
they're
that's,
saying,
that's
why-
also private.
No, but then
property.
what kills
But
me,
it was
right?
on private property. That's
What-
why they got stopped.
Huh? What
They
do you
couldn't go in.
Right, the
No,
private
they
property has something to do with it, right?
Yeah, well, no, it wasn't that. It was federal. I think it was private or it was federal property or something like that, or federal property. You
No,
know.
But the local
the
cops
Dodgers-
couldn't stop them because the cops stopped them.
Exactly, and they can't.
They couldn't
They're
go
not
in.
supposed
They
to do
need
that.
tickets to go in.
Well, they're not even supposed to. When
they
when-
should have bought the tickets.
yeah, when it's a
They
federal
could have bought
op-
the tickets and go
Yeah.
in, right?
when it's a federal operation, you cannot bother them. And then what it is, they're coming up with all these excuses. Oh, why are these ICE agents wearing masks? Because they can. That's why. They have
I don't see
families.
the
They
relevance
have
of
families.
that.
They don't want
Yeah.
their families being targeted. They're
I-
federal agents.
I heard that they couldn't wear a mask after.
Huh? No, they're still wearing them. But what it is that they're federal agents. They have families to protect. They are federal agents, so therefore they are following orders. It's not like they're doing this on their own recognition. They're following orders. If they're being told to wear a mask, then guess what? You wear the goddamn mask.
Right. Makes
You
sense.
understand? Like people telling me, "Oh, that's not fair." What do you mean? What's not fair? They're telling me, "Oh, but what about the Constitution? The Constitution is only for U.S. citizens. These are not U.S. citizens.
I'm
These are illegal
bothered. I'm
immigrants."
bothered that you still holding on to that.
Because it's true.
The U.S. Constitution is
It's
for
for only
everybody
US
in the land.
No, everybody in the United States.
Yes.
A United States citizen.
No.
If you are an illegal immigrant, then the U.S. Constitution does not apply to you.
It does apply.
No, it does not. I have the Constitution in my house.
I am touchy.
that-
I'm touchy with that. I'm not sure.
No, you're touchy with it, but what I'm trying to say, see, you guys are big running off of feelings right now.
No, that's what I'm saying.
What I'm telling you is law. I'm telling you fact.
I am
because I have the U.S. Constitution.
What I'm saying, I'm
Right.
You understand?
ignorant to the fact that what it covers. I know it covers United States.
United States citizens,
But
not
the point
illegal
what
immigrants.
you making
No,
is
no,
that
no.
I don't know about that. I'm not saying because
Yeah.
I don't know about it. You're
Yeah.
not saying. I'm just saying.
No, it doesn't.
I-
It does not apply
I
to
don't
illegal
know.
immigrants.
Why do you think? What's the word that I used? You had contain like certain detainees. You could only hold them for like 72 hours or something like that.
Yeah.
That's because you don't want to violate their constitutional right.
That's if they're a
Still-
U.S. citizen. If
No.
they are an illegal immigrant, they do not belong here. You detain them as long as
So
you
why
can.
do they have to be released after a certain time?
That's if they're a U.S. citizen.
it's a
Illegal
conflict
immigrants are not released
because
after a certain
The,
time.
the gentleman that's in limbo right now that they deported by mistake.
He's a U.S. citizen.
No, he wasn't.
He is. Yes, he is.
He's
That
from-
you just
he's
said it. They
from-
deported him.
He's from El Salvador, but
But he's
Oh,
a
you talking about
U.S.
the one
citizen.
They deported.
yes,
Yeah, he's a citizen.
But he's a U.S. citizen.
That's why the
there's a-
judge
there's-
ordered
there's-
Trump to bring him back.
He is a
There's-
U.S.
there's
citizen.
Another gentleman. He was in
no,
the interim
no,
getting his
no,
paperwork situated.
Yeah, but situated. Well, you know what that means, right? That means that he is not a U.S. citizen yet. He's
Right.
in the process of becoming one.
Yeah,
It is very
Yet
cut and
means-
dry.
yeah.
So
That's the
no.
word.
So what that
That's the
means?
word.
So what that means is that he is not a U.S. citizen.
Everyone who goes to court
No,
has
no.
to be
The Constitution.
convicted beyond a reasonable
The
doubt.
Constitution, yeah, for U.S. citizens, the Constitution only applies
So there's
to
nothing-
United
there's
States
nothing
citizens.
subjective
Touch
about
because
that.
if the law is supposed to apply for everyone who is not guilty until proven innocent, right?
To U.S. citizens.
Yeah, but so the fact that now let's say I am not a U.S. citizen, but I have a green card. Follow?
Is your
I
green
go-
card current?
You're still
Yeah,
protected.
let's say
Your green
current.
card's current. It's not current. It's not
No,
expired.
I'm saying let's say
It's
your
current.
green card
Okay,
is
so
current.
you have a green card.
Yes.
Let's say I have a green
Okay,
card.
so that means that you have a resident visa, correct?
Right,
So
but-
you're good. You're
But I'm
covered.
not
Yo,
a
he's not a
citizen.
citizen.
You're good. You're covered.
But I'm
You're
not a
covered.
citizen.
But you're not a citizen.
You
No,
just
but
use the term that
Yeah,
it has
because
to be
but that
US
falls
citizen.
under the guise of being a U.S. citizen because you have permission to be here. Now, say for instance, if you have that visa and you commit a crime, you're out of here. There is no due process.
Yeah, even
there is
even-
not. You're out of here.
Let's say
But
say,
you have because you went through the process. Don't you understand?
You
There
want,
is a
you want me to
process
tell you
here.
something right
But
now?
that-
If someone commit a crime against another human being in the United States,
Okay, you keep saying human being.
You're not just going to let them
U.S.
go.
citizen.
You're not just going to let them go because they're not
But
U.S.
here's the
citizens.
thing. Here's the thing. I'm a U.S. citizen, right?
Yes,
I wasn't
we're all
born
U.S.
here.
citizens here.
But if I commit certain crimes, my citizenship can get revoked and send my behind
Oh,
back
definitely.
to where I come
Yeah.
from. So again, using
See,
that
like
Like,
me-
that's just only like limited, very limited. If you were to try to overthrow
Well, it
the
depends on
government.
what kind of
No,
crime you shoot.
capital
No, it depends
crime.
on what kind. Yeah, capital crimes,
capital
murder.
crimes,
Murder,
certain
kidnapping.
murders, yeah,
Yeah.
you will get.
See, like me, I'm not a citizen. I'm a national.
Go-
They can't
go-
deport me anywhere.
Google,
All they can do is throw me in jail.
Google how many percent of U.S. citizens have been deported in the history of time.
How many?
Wait, U.S. citizens. A U.S. citizen doesn't get deported.
Right. Case in point.
No. We are. If you have two type of a citizenship, right? You have
Yeah,
one
you have-
that's born here,
Yeah,
and you have one that
Natural born and naturalized.
yeah. You have a naturalized.
right.
My mother's
So,
a naturalized
The
citizen.
born one here, where you gonna send them back to?
Exactly. I was born here. My
If
mother
they commit
wasn't.
certain crimes, let's say capital crime or overthrow the government, where you gonna send them to?
You don't have a third country.
They don't have a country,
Yeah.
so we are talking about
So
the
you gotta send-
naturalized citizens.
A naturalized is like my mom is a
Which is
naturalized
like
citizen.
myself,
Yeah,
right?
you're not because my mom's
So
from
if
Venezuela.
I commit a certain crime, that citizenship is not gonna pull any shield for me. If a certain crime I committed, I do my time, and then they revoke my citizenship and send my black behind back to wherever I
Yeah.
come from.
I know somebody did 24 years in jail,
Mhm.
and they still out in California right now.
Yeah.
Somebody did 6 months, and they're back home.
So it all
It just
depends. It
depends
just
on
depends on the
paperwork.
situation.
Well, yeah. Does this person have money? Does he have good
Citizen-
legal representation?
No, it's just a matter of citizenship. It's immigration status. That's all.
No,
Yeah.
remember, it's all dependent on the crimes. Also,
Yeah, it also
Just
depends on
remember,
what
you
kind
have
of
to keep
crime he
that as
committed.
factor. It's also dependent on crime because if I was doing some stuff like Bonnie and Clyde,
Right.
right. So there's no way I'm gonna do my time and still remain in this country.
Yeah, they're gonna
There's
send him
no
back.
way that's gonna
They'll send
happen.
him back. See, like me, if I do a bunch of crimes, they're just gonna throw me in jail for 100 years. They can't send me anywhere.
It's your country.
They would just throw. Yeah, this is my country. Now, say for instance, if I go to Mexico and I cause a whole bunch of nonsense, they're not gonna throw me in jail. You know what they're gonna do in Mexico? They're gonna kill me. If I go to any other country outside the United States and act the way these people act here, guess what they're gonna do to me? They're gonna kill me. They're gonna blow my head off.
I think
and you know what? I don't blame them.
I think more than ever right now, everyone should become a U.S. citizen just for the simple protection that it affords.
That's why they kind of
individual.
enforcing it now. I mean, I think it's much easier according to what I'm hearing people saying.
Yeah, I agree. They should become, but they have to follow the process.
Right, they follow the process.
I mean, this is a process you can't buy your way into.
No,
So
you can't.
either the
I'm like,
government,
unless you have a lot of money.
if you have money, and you're still a process they go through
Of
because
course.
they have to get authorization from
Yep.
wherever and then say, oh, you know what? Yeah, a couple billions. We can't allow him to leave the country with that million. So let's give him his citizenship or
That's a great point.
his paperwork and stuff like that. So in structure like that, they will do that. But
And if you go on military duties,
I'm sorry.
people who have like military orders, they
What do you
apply for their citizenship too. If you go and serve the United States overseas, they expedite the citizenship process.
Oh yeah,
I
definitely.
think that
definitely.
that speeds up. If you go in the military,
Well, because you're serving military time. So if you're doing military time, like you're serving the country, you're being patriotic.
Right.
So yeah, no, that's definitely
Push for that.
that's definitely an exception. You understand? But as far as the U.S. Constitution is only here to protect United States citizens. Now you have something else. Now
What's
you
your
have-
stance on that? Like,
Now you
I
have-
don't know about that.
No,
You're a little numb on that right now.
I read all the time. Now you have something else called the World Declaration of Human Rights. Okay. Now that, as far as the United States government, as far as us being human beings, they violate our human rights every day. But what it is,
How so?
you would have to. I mean, anything. I mean, look, let's put it this way: we're not. They're not supposed to. You see how we're in debt, like how we're in debt with certain things. We're not supposed to be in debt because that's like as far as going against, like basically being a financial slave to where you're indebted to something. That's usury. That's usury. This is how they control all of us in this country, and that's actually violating one of our. But you would have to take that to the world court. In order to do that, you got to have a lot of money. You got to have your ducks in a row. So trust me, they do violate our rights every day, but that's a universal declaration of human rights. And then if people don't know, see, like I said, I read a lot. I like that. Yeah. So this is what I'm saying. So it's something, but see, you have to know. If you don't know, then you're not going to be able to take advantage. And on top of that,
you won't be able to protect yourself.
That's exactly, and that's information that's not necessarily spread around. And even if it is spread around, people look at you like you're crazy. You understand? So that's why I always tell people, knowledge is power. I read all kinds of books, bro. I read everything. I have to read everything, and I got to read everything from both sides because then I'm able to filter out the nonsense and what's real, what's fake, what's propaganda, what's bias, things like that.
Yeah, you gotta educate yourself because this is the only way you can make sound decisions.
That's the only way to get ahead, especially in this country.
It doesn't say it's bulletproof where you will not make errors and stuff like that. But to put you on a higher scale to make good sound decisions and analyze certain things and you can put your perspective.
Yeah. It's law. You know your law, you're good, bro.
Right. I heard one of my favorite sayings is always that smart people know a lot. Wise people make great decisions.
Exactly.
Smart people know a lot.
And wise people make great decisions. That is absolutely true. That is absolutely true.
That is profound.
Because smart people do know a lot, but they don't make wise decisions. They don't make good decisions. Wise
That's
people.
That's very profound. I think I may add that to my
because somebody that's smart, that's good. Because somebody that's smart is somebody that just read a lot of stuff and they retained information, but they never experienced anything. A wise person read everything, retained all that information, and also experienced it.
Apply it.
Yeah, and apply it.
Smart people,
because
smart people make.
Smart people
know a lot. Smart people know
exactly.
a lot.
Yeah, they just know a lot.
A wise person make good decisions.
Exactly, because smart people, everything is in theory. With them, everything is in theory, but they never applied it.
Case in point.
So whereas huh?
That case in point right there, I like that. That's a perspective right there. That's a good
So they never applied it.
The other thing too, the little embarrassment. I mean, where we were talking about with Israel and the U.S. So the U.S. understand where they dropped this bomb, and they said they clear out Iran, destroy Iran. So the CIA
obliterated them,
and
they didn't do anything
back,
to Iran.
and the Pentagon came back.
They didn't do anything to Iran.
Nothing did happen.
Exactly.
The only thing they did, or what the U.S. did, and Trump is furious right now because every morning he get up, he's talking about it. He's on social media.
He's angry.
He's angry because they expose his behind.
But he killed me talking about that Bibi should be pardoned. He's on my name. You saw that tweet?
Which one?
That Trump is saying, he's like, I feel Netanyahu should be pardoned. Yo, dude.
Pardon about what?
Because basically what's going to happen is that Israel's going to lose. This is exactly what's going to happen. Israel's going to lose. Netanyahu's going to go on trial. And he's going to be convicted of all these crimes. He went on trial before. Genocidal crimes. That's how they genocide. Yeah, but see, this time around, people are a lot more smarter. He doesn't have dirt on anybody. Or like the people that he does have dirt on, this is what I'm saying. Like, Trump is making it obvious, like, dude, you're making it obvious that the man has dirt on you. If you're saying, he needs to be pardoned if any crime, if he's charged for anything. No. He's guilty of everything that he's done, and he needs to go to jail for a long time. He actually needs to be beheaded.
This is like maybe the third week now I'm mentioning it, and I'm still trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
How this man, he went to court, and they find him guilty. They abandon him, banishing him, cast him out. This is not Yahoo I'm talking about.
Bibi Netanyahu.
I call him Yahoo.
Yeah, Bibi Netanyahu. Because he blackmails and extorts. Don't you understand?
And he came back in power of being the prime minister.
Through blackmail
through
blackmail and extortion.
What's his first name?
Benjamin. They call him Bibi. But his name is Benjamin. Benjamin Netanyahu.
Yeah, not Yahoo. I call him
He's
Yahoo.
not even Jewish. He's not even Jewish. He's not a Semite. You know where he's from?
He's not a website.
You know where he's from? He's not Jewish. He's not a Semite. You know what he is? He's not even, He's Polish. He's Polish. He's from Poland. He's not. That's what, he's a
His
European.
name Benjamin, man.
His name is Benjamin. They call him BB.
He said BB.
No, that's what they call him, but his name is Benjamin.
BB.
yeah, it's pretty propaganda.
Yeah.
I like that.
No, but that's what it is. But what it is
Well,
is
that's
that
probably just a
he's a
nickname,
Zionist. These are Zionists. These are globalists. These are these are the bad people, bro. These are the people that we back in the days. What it said, we used to call them the men. These are the bad people. These are the bad people that control everything. And he's one of them.
It's from these things has to happen. You know, to be honest with you, and I am coming from I would say from a spiritual standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
Most of you maybe not. I know Mike would not support because he doesn't believe certain things spiritually. But these same events, these same decisions, these same warmongers, these same rumors of wars and stuff like that is in the book of Revelation.
Yeah.
And it's outlined word for word, T for T, exactly how things are going to happen.
It was written, right?
Yeah. So I don't understand. Here's the other thing too where I don't comprehend, where some people like, I don't believe in the Bible, but you have a book that's written
Exactly.
thousands of years ago.
That's telling you what's
And
happening.
all these things never happened yet, right? Are happening
It
now.
was already prophesied.
Yeah. It's
That's
cognitive
right.
dissonance at its
Let
finest.
me rephrase it. These things, some of these things are because they said there's nothing new underneath the sun, right? But it's happening, but in a different phase.
Exactly.
It happened before,
Yes,
but
it
now
did.
it's happening in a different phase of it, right? So I'm saying, if you don't believe in this, and yet you're claiming man wrote this, right? And because man wrote this, you don't believe this book. But yet this book is telling you what's in the future. And it's on point. What is what is not there to believe then?
Right.
You know what? And do you know what? And look, and that goes back to the saying of those who don't know history, their history, are doomed to repeat it. And this is what happens with us. This is what happens with our civilization. Every 1,000 years, we're going through the same thing every 1,000, 2,000 years. Because people don't know their history,
Knowledge is
cognitive
power.
dissonance. That's what I'm saying. Knowledge is power. They have to retain everything. What happens is that people get convinced. People are lazy. Nobody wants to critically think. They want to think one way, and since everybody else is thinking that way, they want to be accepted, and they think, oh, that's the way. No, that's not the way. The way is you have right. What's right is right, and what's wrong is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what's going to happen, sometimes when you're right or the right thing to do is going to piss off a lot of people.
But it's the right thing.
You got to remember, when you ask somebody to hold themselves accountable for their actions, that's not, when I got to hold myself, if I did something fucked up and I have to take blame for that, that's the right thing to do, but that doesn't make me feel
But you know
good.
the right.
But that doesn't make me feel
when
good
you do the right thing,
because I'm holding myself accountable.
It's never popular. So
No, it's never.
you know,
It's never popular.
when you try to do the right thing, or you're trying to stand up for principles, ethics, protocols, morals, and stuff like that,
you get
you're
dragged
not-
through the mud.
You're not gonna get any support.
Yeah.
You're gonna get bashed out. Why? You're gonna find people trying to dig up your past. You may done something in high school, or even when you just came out of your mother vagina.
Yeah.
They were trying to find something. Oh, well, he came out funny and weird out of his mother's vagina. Some dumb crap. They would go back to these decades or years to try to dig up because you're speaking the truth.
Yep.
You know, and the thing is, Jesus came and he did the same thing, and you know, he even said it himself. He's like, it was in context though of a lot of people misunderstand it when he talks about, I didn't came here to set peace. I came here to turn the parents.
You came say what?
I didn't came here to set the peace. I came to set the daughters against the mothers. And so in context, what it means is that because he's going to speak the truth, these people is going to turn against him and the family because they don't want to hear the truth.
Exactly. They'd rather hear a beautiful lie.
He's not saying that he's personally going to set and create problems because of what he's going to be teaching.
Yeah.
Going to create problems because they don't want to hear.
People would rather hear a beautiful lie than the ugly truth because they'd rather hear a beautiful lie than the ugly truth because it makes them feel better. And what people don't understand is that feelings are not facts, facts are not feelings, and they never will be.
Right, but it's proven. They say the problem with a lot of us as human beings is that we would rather be pray like we rather be praised or probably be hurt by lies and something like that, but something we would rather be glorified by lies than saved by the truth or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. No, but that's what it is. It's more so that they'd rather ingest a beautiful lie than have to swallow the hard truth, an ugly truth.
I saw a sign in Jersey a couple of years ago, but I cannot remember how they articulated on the sign, but it was really profound. It was saying that something similar where if a punch, a lie is like, it's I'm trying to remember how to articulate it. I mean, I don't want to, but anyway, it came down to the point where it says the truth hurts.
Right.
Yeah,
I got
it really does.
But it says the trouble with most of us is that we would rather be ruined by praise
than saved by criticism. Yes, that is very true. That is very true.
Too many people got like very thin skin.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So they want to be praised instead of being criticized.
Right. But
see, me, I'd rather be criticized than praised.
Right.
I'd rather, because I'm King Tox anyway. I'm like, they praise me anyway, so it don't matter.
Yeah, you gotta go back to that. I really should be laughing right now.
No, but that's very profound. To be honest, I feel.
How you say, Mike? King Tox, baby.
King Tox,
baby.
I feel. And like I said, and you know what? And I will be that toxic individual just for everybody else, to actually. I will sacrifice my goodness just for one person to actually wake up and critically think and actually, like you said, be open to criticism as opposed to accepting praise.
Right.
I'd rather be open to criticism than to accept praise. And what I mean by criticism, I mean very constructive criticism. Now, there's a thin line between constructive criticism and somebody putting you down and somebody insulting you. But I think, if you're in touch enough or if you're in tune enough to people's personalities, tonality, thing like that, you'd be able to tell when somebody's insulting you and when somebody's actually trying to and that was a problem of mine for a very long time because I was a hothead when I was younger, thinking with my emotions. And, one of the OGs, they tried to give me game and I'm thinking he's trying to play me. So and he's not.
How do you get past that?
You bumped me. To me, to be honest,
a lot of people with fragile.
You know how I got past it? I got past it by 37 years old. I'm working in the post office, and I made so many bad decisions that I ended up living in my car for 6 months, and I really had to wake up.
You went through that?
Yeah. And it was all my fault because it was a culmination of very, very bad decisions that basically led me to being homeless. But then after that, living in your car, sleeping in car plazas, taking a shower in the gym, things like that, you really have to sit back like, what the hell am I doing? So basically for me, I had to bump my head 1,000 times because I'm hard-headed.
Yeah. So,
you understand?
Want to touch this briefly because we're about that time now before we cut. We notice now all these things kind of take precedent over what we used to experience with turf. So I know it's kind of still there, but now it's like a back burner. But we still have even some of the Congress members are still pushing because right now most of these companies are still figuring out how we gonna share with the public. And Congress is also pushing to say, you know what, we gotta inform the public of what they are paying for. Yeah. So they're kind of trying to figure out strategically to see, listen, when you buy an apple from me, the turf, what's about of it, so what's going to be a part of it, you usually pay $5. Now you're paying $6.25.
Yeah.
Which is a
25% raise, yeah.
Is coming from you for the turf business. Well, it's kind of died down now, but I mean, briefly, where do you guys think this I know the war kind of took over and kind of put that in a submission issue, but it's still up there because right now we still facing that inflation is coming, but we are so distracted on this war thing. I mean, I'm not sure if it's a strategy with this thing, but for the U.S. even to go and get involved so we can shift our minds from this turf thing. But it's up there. China is still fighting. The world is still fighting with this turf stuff.
For real, we got sidetracked, right?
Uh-huh.
We got sidetracked.
Yeah.
We always get sidetracked with
people
nonsense.
are getting laid off
We
and stuff
constantly
like
get
that.
sidetracked.
So it's like we are focusing on what the U.S. is doing, and meanwhile we are suffering in the back with these tariffs and stuff like that, and it's just like a silent creeper right now. It's going on. Nobody's not really saying it, including the guys them who even start this thing, and they keep it in a wrap. But it's also pushing up where, according to them, that inflation is coming back up.
I think that's fear mongering because I've noticed I've been I've just moved into a new apartment, been food shopping. My grocery bill has been lower. And I do notice I don't have a car, but I had my boy
Gas
had
price went
my
down.
gas price went
Gas
down.
price is going to definitely go up.
No, but it went down. It went down
It
right
went
now.
down?
Yeah, it went
It went
down
down again?
because I just filled up. I don't have a car, but my boy was helping me do something. I said, "Yo, help me do this. I'll fill up your gas tank for you." So I went to go fill up this gas tank, and I was like, "Oh shit!" Because usually he has the same. This was on. He helped me move about a month ago, and I think I filled up his gas tank. Might have cost me $45 to fill up his gas tank.
I wish.
He just helped me. He got a Civic.
You like
Cause-
$60.
Cause he got
60?
This is like 100.
120.
He got a
What are you
big
talking
boy.
about?
Yeah, he got a big boy. He got a Range Rover. That's
You
a
got
V8.
93?
That's a V8.
Huh?
You got 93?
93. Yeah, I take
Yeah.
93.
Oh, and he takes 93. But
you can't take anything else.
Yeah.
It's 93.
so when I filled up his
Is it
tank, when he helped me
premium?
move,
Premium?
Premium,
he has to. Yeah, he's a Range Rover. So when I helped him move,
Man, that thing swallow
Big
gas.
dog.
I mean, when he helped me
Big
move,
dog.
it was $45. When he just helped me again this weekend, I filled up his tank again. It was only like $35. So I was like, oh shit, it went down $10. $10.
It's a car.
Yeah, the same exact car. So what it is, when I filled up his car when he helped me move about a month ago, I filled up his tank. It was $45. We just had to do something the other day, and he helped me again doing something. I filled up his tank. It was only $35.
Yeah,
I said, oh,
I
okay.
bought gas was like $3.50 in a
Yeah,
gallon.
gas went down. No, it was actually where I went. It was $2.99.
Because you're buying like 87.
Yeah, 87.
Wait,
87.
He said $2.99.
Try buying 93. Now. Yeah, I mean, I'm still feeling the pain, even though it drops, because right now it's at 3. The last time I bought from Mobile down the block there too.
How many miles per gallon you get?
389.
Look at that. It was up. It was like 4
So
something
it
for,
was
for
like
93.
4 something going on.
So that's what I'm
Mike,
saying.
you get like 30 miles per gallon, right? I get
13
27.
miles?
I get 27.
Well, you have an Altima.
13.
Yeah.
I wish. I probably get like
He gets
7.
about 10. Yeah.
Sure.
Because remember, he has a Range Rover. That's a Sport.
Yeah, and that's the 8 liter,
Yeah, he has a Range Rover Sport V8, right?
the V8.
Yeah.
I
That
get,
thing
I
drinks
get, I get
gas.
27 miles per gallon city and 35 on the highway.
You
Yeah,
have
because
a
you have the,
car,
what do you call?
Yeah, but
You got the same car as my baby mama.
dude. That thing
it
swallowed.
make more sense right now to get a car. I don't want to dissuade you from what you like.
That thing swallow gas, dude. It doesn't drink. It swallow gas.
That thing, yeah, yours drinks gas.
it's crazy.
No, but on top of that, the maintenance
You got
on
a
it.
nice
To be
kick on it,
honest,
though. You got a nice kick on it,
your
though.
car is probably one of the best cars to have right now
Yeah.
because it's good on gas.
Yeah.
The parts are cheap
Right.
as far as like maintenance on things like that. That's actually a really good
I-
mid-size
I have
sedan.
I have a Nissan Altima. Yeah, it self corrects itself. Like if you were to try to fall asleep on the road,
Mm-hmm.
it start and it start going
Well,
back.
they started implement that. I think about 2 years ago.
It
They
start-
started implementing
it
those
start- It
technology.
started going back by itself.
What I noticed,
And then if you
there's so
try
many
to- if you
EVs
go
on the
into
road now.
like a stationary object or something, it stops by itself. It
It'll
starts
stop.
pushing back. Like if you're going too fast into a car or oncoming traffic, it's gonna stop.
I saw they
itself.
did some
Pushing
demonstration
itself back.
with this
You
lady.
feel it bracing for you.
Yeah.
I feel
break
this
it.
lady.
I told you and my baby mother had the same car.
This lady. They did a test. On
I want to take that as a fact.
I don't know if it was a Nissan, but they did a test on one of these cars where the lady was as a tester. She was pretending that she fall asleep, and
All
she
right.
like because they have a sensor.
Oh, they got sensors, yeah.
that keeps your eyes. So once your eyes close,
Mm-hmm.
this thing was brilliant. What this car did, man. So she pretends she like fall asleep. Meanwhile, she on the gas. Somehow now the car started warning her, try to wake her up. The car realized, I guess the sensors realized that, hey, this woman is not getting up. She's not moving, whatever the case may be. The car put itself in a way where it started slowing down. And then I guess obviously it has cameras too.
Yeah.
And it take its time, gradually merge itself onto each lane until it reaches this
To the
curve
shoulder. Okay.
and pull over and complete stop.
Really?
Yo, I see.
Wow.
I'm like,
That was a Tesla?
I don't know what I can't.
It must have.
remember what car
It
was
must have been the Tesla because the Tesla they just roll them on in Austin. No, the one.
I'm like, what?
Really?
The driverless cars are out right now. The driverless cabs.
They creating hell in
Those
Chicago,
kind of those I don't
Are
trust
they?
those.
Yeah, they creating hell, and it's by Tesla.
I don't
They
trust
creating
those.
hell in Chicago.
Yeah, I don't want no mission. I have to drive my own. So I can't. I don't trust those.
Just put your address in.
Yeah, I don't trust those.
It
I
takes
don't
you
trust. To be honest, after what happened to that guy that burned alive in his Tesla from just like a minor car crash, I don't want to set foot inside. I don't want to set foot inside of
You
it.
got burned
I'd
alive.
rather go to
Yeah, you didn't see that? You didn't see that on the news? The dude, the Tesla truck.
No, I didn't.
He got into a minor car crash, but what happened was that it created a fire because the whole car, it's all electric. It all went down. He got trapped in his car. He burned up alive. This just
I'd
happened.
rather go buy me
It's like a day or two ago.
Chinese, man. Go to China and buy me a car and bring back over here.
Bro, get me.
Go-
I'm good with a 1993 Honda Accord SL 4-door.
Toyota Corolla.
So those are good
Oh,
cars,
that save
man.
a lot of gas money
Those are
too.
good cars, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Hell yeah. Shit, Toyota Corolla,
Yo,
Honda Civic.
you know what's kind of crazy? I see people get to like 100,000 miles here to what they want to. They got to replace it, right? I go to Belize and the thing says 215,000 miles on it,
Yeah.
and that's like
Yeah.
normal.
To be honest, you know what's an ideal car that I really like? A Toyota Camry.
That's what I see.
Toyota Camry is an ideal car.
Well, folks,
402.
it's that time
It's out.
again.
Yes.
We thank you for joining us. And before we go, would ask you guys
Final
to
thoughts.
give your final thoughts.
Well,
and
my
what we
final
had
thoughts,
discussed.
it's still burn, Israel, burn.
I had a feeling it was good.
Your time is up. Donnie, just admit that you're on the Epstein list, bro. At this point, nobody really cares.
That's it. Right?
And and who's the other guy? What's his name? Representative Jared Moskowitz. You're a bozo. Yeah. Okay.
Jared, Angel.
Yeah, I said, thank you guys. I think I'm just stay aware of like what's going on. Keep current with everything that's going on in the news right now. Don't be distracted. Think about how it affects your pocket.
That's a fact.
Yeah. Ditto to that. And for those who know what the word ditto means, we're from the ghost.
Same thing.
Same thing. So
Yes.
I would say continue doing your research. Even us. Verify, trust, but verify. If you see something is off or stuff like that, feel free to send us email. Share us the facts, what you find, and to debunk us if we are sharing information, because our goal is to spread good factual news to you.
Yes,
And include it to ourselves as well. So
and to our New York City residents, okay,
And to our
the
New
smart
York City-
vote is Curtis Sliwa. He doesn't have a lot. He doesn't have a big political background, but he's probably the only one that actually cares about the city. So
I think
think about
Cuomo
that.
cares about for you and I.
Yeah,
think
I mean, to be honest, if Cuomo would have won, I would have said definitely vote for Cuomo.
I thought Cuomo got it locked.
I really did. Like, I'm still like, that had to have been fixed to something. Like,
I'm still in
Cuomo's
this-
not perfect, but come on, really, the Mamdani.
Right.
And that knucklehead talking about, what's the difference between them and me? They're not the mayor. I am.
Eric, Eric, nobody's paying you no mind. Bro.
Exactly. Just get out
All
the
right,
office.
just go,
Matter of fact, do us a favor. And
Yeah,
leave.
nobody's paying you no mind.
Just
You're saying
leave.
we don't want you to run the city no more. All you ever do is hang out on Dykeman, dance with Dominican women anyway.
Just
Bro,
leave.
yeah,
and just
you go
spare
write
the
a book or
city
something.
all
Go
of
do
this
something.
Bureaucracy crap.
You beat
and
your
all
case
that.
or whatever to when you took the money from the Turkish nationals. All right, you're in the clear. Please, we don't want you
Trump
running the
helped you
city
out already.
anymore.
Trump helped you out already, so just leave now.
Exactly.
Anyway, thank you folks for joining us. We are delighted that you spent some time with us and listened to us as we share some information on what's going on out there, the news about this country, our financial structure, et cetera, et cetera. Just keep your eyes open, your ears open, because things are coming, and hopefully don't keep your mouth shut. If you can make a difference, do what you can to make a difference.
That's a
whether
fact.
you vote
Definitely.
or you speak or you join a community leadership or whatever things that can help improve your community, this state what you're living
Yes.
in, and maybe this overall the country
That
itself.
is
Yes.
a fact.
Read
Do
read
what you
everything.
can.
Read
Do what
everything
you
and
can.
practice critical thinking. It's very
Ditto.
But
Ditto.
until next time, same place. We'll see you again next week Tuesday. Hopefully it's not hot again.
Yes.
We'll see you again next week Tuesday.
Word.
Stay safe. Be blessed.
Yes. Peace. Good
Peace
night.
out.
All right.